Good evening. My name is Minister Vajra Miller, and I am delivering a message today called Walking by Faith, Not by Sight. Good evening, church. Have you ever been in a season where you couldn't see what God was doing, where the road ahead looked foggy, the answers weren't clear, and you found yourself saying, Lord, I don't understand, but I'm going to trust you anyways? That's what it means to walk by faith. In 2 Corinthians 5 and 7, Paul wrote, "For we walk by faith, not by sight." It's a short verse, but just like God's words, it holds a powerful truth. Faith in trusting God when you even can't trace Him. Faith believes even when you don't see it. Hebrews 11 and 1 says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." Faith doesn't deny reality. It just sees a greater, a farther reality. God told Noah to build an ark. At that time, there was no rain. He told Abraham he'd be a father. He was almost 100 years old. Even when he told Moses to stretch out his staff, the Red Sea hadn't parted yet. But they moved anyways, not by sight, but by faith. Sometimes God gives you a promise without showing you the process. He asks you to go before you know. Maybe right now you're waiting on a job or praying for healing, believing for a breakthrough for yourself or your family. You might not see it yet, but keep walking, because faith says, if God said it, believe it. Faith walks when it's hard to see the way. Psalms 119:105 says, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." A lamp. You don't see the whole road, just a very short distance, even just the next step. Walking by faith means trusting the next step. God's step, one step at a time. You don't have to know everything, how everything will turn out, but you do have to know the one who's leading you. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 reminds us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make that path straight." You see, faith, this is very important. Faith doesn't mean you're never afraid. It means you choose to keep walking even when you are. When Peter stepped out of the boat to walk on the water, he was fine until he looked at those waves. The moment he shifted his eyes from Jesus to the storm, he began to sink. So faith says, I'll keep my eyes on Jesus, not the storm, not the circumstance, not the struggle, but on Jesus. Walk with me and keep your eyes on Jesus. Faith trusts God to finish what He started. Philippians 1 and 6 says, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus." God is not finished with you yet. You may not see the full picture, but He's still painting the masterpiece. You might not see the harvest, but He's still working beneath the soil. Walking by faith means believing that God is doing what He promised, and He will perform it to completion. And sometimes God lets us walk in the dark, unknown, so we'll hold His hand. You may not always understand what He's doing, but you can trust who He is. Church, tonight I want to remind you that we walk by faith, not by sight. That means when we can't see the answer, we still trust the author. When we don't see the way, we still follow the waymaker. Faith is not about what you see, it's about who you see. And as long as your eyes are on Jesus, you'll never lose direction. Hebrews 12:12 says, "Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith." So, saints, keep walking one step at a time, one prayer at a time, one promise at a time, because the God who called you is faithful and he will see you through. Lastly, just as a reminder as we depart, when you can't see his hand, trust his heart and keep walking by faith.